underway. I hope everybody's been having just a fantastic day. Wow, what a week of news. It has just been swamped crazy news. It just feels like every time I look somewhere, there's breaking news this week. Sling TV just added a traditional channel guide, which a lot of people have been demanding. DirecTV Now comes to Roku. Hulu is rolling out invite-only beta invites to the Fire TV for their Hulu Live TV beta. So yeah, it's crazy out there. I hope you are all holding onto your hats and enjoying the ride, because it has been a bumpy one with news this week. But I'm here for the next about hour to answer your core card related questions. So if you have them, I'm taking a look at facebook.com/corecardsnews and youtube.com/corecardsnews. So post your questions there. I will do my best to answer them. If you're hearing me, everything's great, let me know. Leave me a message to make sure everything's working correctly. Would really appreciate it. But yeah, I see everybody is flying in tonight. We have a good turnout, it looks like. So we are, I think, pretty much live everywhere. Let me quickly share this over one more place. Andy, yes, the Sling TV new guide is only on Android. If you read our post, you will find that we clearly state that it's only available on Android. Other device support will be coming over the next couple of weeks. Thank you, everybody. I see. Welcome to everybody on YouTube. Welcome to everybody on Facebook. Let's get this show on the road. Hello, Ken from Iowa. It's good to see you there. Hello from slightly rainy Texas. Let me turn on my light over here. Usually, I just use sunlight over here, but it's kind of a rainy, gloomy day, so I wanted to flip on my desk lamp. Duke, yeah, there's a few things with DirecTV Now right now. It's on Roku. Finally came out, so we don't have to get more questions about when it comes out on Roku. It's here. It's on Roku. They do say some more app support is going to come for the Fire TV or for the Roku DirecTV Now app. I found it interesting that the Roku blog email basically said that this is the early version of the DirecTV Now on Roku. Basically saying, yeah, we know it's not on every Roku device. It's on all the current models and the most recent ones, the previous generation. And they basically said, yeah, we're going to get more. Roku keeps saying that. So that's good to know that DirecTV Now is going to come to more Rokus, but all the Roku Premiers, Express, Ultras, Roku 2 and 3 and 4 are there. The Roku 1 is the one that's not there. The older Roku stick doesn't offer it. And I'm not sure if they will. Those are definitely slower devices, but Roku said it's coming to more devices. So I'll expect the third generation back players to likely get it at some point. Yeah, DirecTV Now Roku has been very solid. There was a little glitch a little while today where some DirecTV Now Roku users were having issues loading channels, but seems to have been fixed and everything seems to be working very well there. What do you think of the future of PlayStation Vue? Well, Seth, I think PlayStation Vue really needs to up their game on the Roku. After seeing the beautiful Twitter, MLB, DirecTV Now app, the new the Sling TV app even looks a lot nicer, I believe. It's a little much more intuitive to use. I think PlayStation Vue needs to get a new Roku app. And I think they need to be very clear about where they're going. You know, that they're working to add more content. You know, the lack of Viacom is hurting them. They have a pretty decent DVR. I know a lot of people are very dedicated PlayStation Vue fans, but there are definitely areas where PlayStation Vue is lacking in comparison to other ones right now, especially on Roku. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when Comcast, Verizon, and CenturyLink launch their live TV services. PlayStation Vue is kind of the odd man out. They don't have as good of deals with content providers, so it will be interesting to see what happens with them. But that's kind of where I am. I think PlayStation Vue has great potential. I think they need to step up their game, and better marketing would help them a lot. Marie says, why does Sling TV look the same? If you read our post there, the grid guide is currently on Android TV. It is rolling out over the next couple of weeks to other devices. So unless you're looking at a device like Android TV, it'll be the same. I believe all current Android TV users have it, and it's rolling out over the next 48 hours to all Android TV users. When will everyone get the new Sling TV app for guide? Robert, they say over the next couple of weeks. Um, I have a Roku 3 and it works better. DirecTV Now works better than on the. I'm assuming you're saying Fire TV there, Jimmy. I'm not sure of the question. Any thoughts on the Android TV OS and the successor to the Nexus Player? Yes, we broke that news there, Carlos, that Google is working on a new Android TV player. All signs point to an October launch for that new Android TV official flagship player. Right now, NVIDIA Shield's kind of the closest thing to a flagship player. There's the MyBox, but the NVIDIA Shield's just dominating the market since the Nexus player closed up shop. So I think that we'll have to wait there and try it out. I played around with the new OS a little bit, but not too much in depth, so I don't really want to comment on that right now. It looks nice and some nice features. It's nice to see Google finally taking the Android TV OS seriously, so hopefully they start rolling that out. Matt and Lisa asked, thoughts on the new Tableau with built-in HD hard drive? You know, I like the design of it. I like the concept of the new Tableau. 64 gigabytes kind of seems, basically it's $50 more expensive than the old Tableau DVR. The only thing different is an internal hard drive of 64 gigabytes. For $50, I can buy a much bigger external hard drive. It also goes from 2 USB ports to 1. So I struggle with that a little bit. I like it. I like the idea. I hope they still sell the older one because I don't know. They're sending me a review unit. I don't see what's new here that's justifying $50. DVD King, do you use Kodi? I do have Kodi. I've even met the team behind Kodi. Really nice guys. Bill, no. Let me jump back to that tab. Bill, that does not have AC. I ran off an early release story on that and initially reported that it had 802.11 AC Wi-Fi. Tableau contacted me and said, no, that was an error there and that we've corrected it and made an update. It's only N. So it's the same Wi-Fi as in the current models. Sorry, back to Kodi. So I met the Kodi team. They're great. I don't really use Kodi all that often. I find I use Plex. I find it's a little bit more user-friendly interface and setup. So... but I have Kodi. I use it from time to time, but not that much. Are you really getting your money's worth with streaming? Oh yeah, I'm saving over $2,000 a year by being a cord cutter. Just them. I get my money's worth and then some. As with all things, self-control. If you're paying more with streaming than you did with cable, you're doing it wrong. But always remember, those promotional rates you see with cable aren't real. On average, Comcast adds between $40 and $55 a month in fees and taxes. So if it says, oh, for $60 you get this, it's really $115, somewhere in that range. So keep that in mind. And that's, promo rate. When the promo rate ends, you're going to be paying over $200 a month. So just keep that all in mind. Diane says, we canceled cable. I had an antenna installed. We have a smart TV, but the Wi-Fi card went out. What products would you recommend would work without a Wi-Fi card? What you probably want to do there, if your Wi-Fi on your smart TV went out, go buy a Roku, go buy a Fire TV, whatever. Plug it into the HDMI port there and use that. That'll be the best thing to do there is to go and just replace that. Instead of using the TV, trying to get it fixed. I mean, a good Roku stick is $50. So that's what I would do. So hopefully that helped you there. But yeah, Roku, Fire TV, whatever you feel comfortable with. Apple TV, if you are really heavily into the Apple interface, is what you need to do there. Italian, yeah. So Italian's asking, can you really get your money's worth out of streaming? And then he asked, is the channels are limited to streaming? Stop thinking about channels and start thinking about shows, Italian. For instance, do you really want Fox or do you want the shows on Fox? The good news is all the shows on Fox are on Hulu. All the shows on NBC for the most part, ABC, and tons of other channels are all on Hulu. You get them the next day. They're great. Fox, NBC, ABC, pull up an antenna, free, live, right there. Sling TV, get 30. You can add add-ons and all kinds of stuff and build a package wherever you want. For $40, you can get, I think it's like 80 channels. My math may be off there, but I believe that was the number. But really focus on shows. And when you just make that switch from I'm so used to looking for Fox and all I want is Fox to realizing I don't want Fox. I want Family Guy. I want Bob's Burgers and so on. You suddenly look around at other services like Sling, Hulu, Netflix, and so forth, and realize the shows you want are there for a fraction of the price. An antenna. On average, we did a survey of our readers. They get over 30 channels with their antenna. So just, you got to change your mindset. It sounds like you're very focused on, I'm used to cable, I had cable, I want a cable experience. And realize, it's kind of like switching from Android to iOS. It takes a little bit of a mindset change. You start wanting to look at services like Hulu, like Netflix, and so on. And you'll find, too, that I found over time my viewing habits changed, and I start binging on shows. I'll go through a whole season of shows rather than being like, oh, I want to watch this show tonight, this show tomorrow, and so on. So give it some time, try it out, don't cancel TV, and go get play around with it with a streaming player wherever you have. Trying the beta Xfinity streaming app on my second TV using Roku just because the wife likes the X1 remote on the first TV. Once promo ends, I'll probably go with PlayStation Vue. Yeah, the other thing about the Xfinity streaming app with Comcast to remember, it's currently in the beta. They're not charging a fee, but when the beta of the service ends, they will be charging a per Roku fee. For every Roku you want to use Comcast app on, you'll pay a monthly fee. So keep that in mind. They're going to get their money. Don't think that they're going to suddenly just say, screw it, we'll let people not pay those typical box rental fees. No, Comcast is getting their money. They're going to charge per Roku device usage fees, which is just crazy. It doesn't cost Comcast anything for you to have a Roku with a Comcast app on it. They just want money. It's just an effort to hide the true cost of the cable service. They don't want to have to advertise the real cost of cable, so they hide it by saying, oh, fees and taxes included. Device fees, Roku fees, taxes, broadcast TV, regional sports fees. On average, you're paying between $40 and $50 a month in Comcast fees. Do you think Wi-Fi service companies will start to increase due to more streaming? Jay, I'm assuming you're talking about the fees that internet charges. And I think there's a slight possibility of that, but the reality is more internet options are coming on the market and they're driving down the prices as a whole. 5G internet is what we're really watching, really paying attention to. That is the new standard of cellular internet. You have 3G and then you have 4G. Well, now you have 5G. And 5G is currently being tested in 6 cities by Verizon. It's being tested in a couple by Charter, Google, and AT&T also. It delivers gigabyte speed internet to your home, to your phone, wherever. And Verizon and others are testing out the ability to sell it to homes. Currently, the big problem with running new internet services is the idea that you need to wire to each individual home. That takes a couple years to dig a line, put fiber to each home, and so on. While now with 5G, you just make some changes to the towers, and suddenly in a couple months, you've wired a whole town instead of a couple years. And that's going to drive down prices. Competition drives down prices. Instead of having maybe 2 or 3 internet options, soon you're going to have 5, 6, 7 internet options. And that's what's going to drive it down. Now, 5G can handle a lot more congestion. It can handle a lot more traffic. It's not going to face the same slowdown and limitations of 4G. And you already see pretty much every service provider out there has a data cap free option. And basically, they all do the same thing. We're designing this to be a home internet and to compete against the Comcasts, the AT&Ts, the CenturyLinks, DSL, cable, whatever, home internet out there. So keep your fingers crossed. We're about 2 to 3 years away from that, but I think that's going to be the answer to our internet speed issues. Ralph asks, I bought a Channel Master DVR with an Amazon Fire Stick, saving about $100 a month. DVR OTA made easy transition. Yeah, Ralph, it's very true. A lot of people are saving about $100. According to the Wall Street Journal, that's the $110 a month is the average savings of a cord cutter. Hey, we're real quick being swamped. I just saw that I made a mistake. I did not change this graphic up here from last week. Let me do that real quick. I apologize. There's no giveaway this week. But hey, if you want to donate and support Court Cars News, just go to patreon.com/courtcarsnews. And I apologize about that. I have been running a little late today, been very swamped. As you know, it's been a busy news day, and I forgot to change that. So very sorry about that. Let's go back to the questions. If I haven't answered yours and it's kind of scrolled past, re-ask it. A lot of questions came in real quick, and I think I missed some. So repost your questions if I haven't answered them. Spectrum is raising the old Time Warner cable internet fees. This will narrow the gap for cord cars that have internet only. Not really. They're raising the price about $5 to $10 on average. If you consider the fact that traditional pay TV Spectrum charges about $100 to $110 on average just for TV, not internet, just TV, paying an extra 10, even $20 a month will still save you $60, $70 a month. So, no. Two things. Remember, scary bad news gets clicks. So, when you see all these like doom and gloom stories on the internet, don't worry about it. Take them with a grain of salt. Just realize that people post those stories because they get clicks and they make money off of them. So, if they can scare you and they can think your life's about to come to an end, you're much more likely to read the story, and they're much more likely to get paid off of AdSense and so forth. Jimmy says, sorry for the typos, but why is DirecTV Now app on the TCL TVs? I just bought 2 years, last 2 years, and someone else said they have an Insignia Roku TV with the same thing. I was told you have to have a 4K TV. 3 and so on. Yes, so Roku has said that 4K TVs run a slightly different OS of Roku than the 1080p. Roku has said it is coming to the 1080p, but they launched it with the 4K because that's a more similar OS to what's on the Ultra, the Premier, and so on. So that's the reason why. Hang tight, Jimmy. I got the TV in my bedroom is a TCL 1080p TV also, same issue. But they say it's coming. My living room 4K TCL has it, so keep that in mind. Robert asks, how long is the promotion for the free month of DirecTV Now going to last? We don't know. So if you want it, get in on it now. If you sign up through your Roku, if you've never had DirecTV Now, sign up through your Roku process, follow the on-screen instructions after installing the Roku channel. It'll give you a code. If you enter that code in checkout on directvnow.com, you'll get a free month trial instead of a week. Make sure you follow the steps, because if you don't, and you don't use that code, and you don't enter the code into the promotion block and checkout, you won't get the free month. And then it's too late. You can't go back and add it. So keep that in mind. If you go to courtcarsnews.com, I have a post there about how to get the free month of DirecTV Now on Roku. I got 50 mile amped antenna, but can't get all channels. I moved hundreds of times. I invested in a 60 mile amp, and there are only 25 stations, according to Seth. Seth, over-the-air TV depends on where you live and what type, and not everybody's going to get every channel. Typically, 90% of Americans will get all channels. Now, that does mean that there's a possibility that there's one of those channels that are not going to be for you. What you need to do is go to antennarecommendations.com. It's the site I own, antennarecommendations.com. Enter your address there, hit submit, and it will show you all the channels you should get with an indoor antenna and all the channels you should get with an outdoor antenna. It's possible you need a more powerful outdoor type of antenna because you may live in an area which is poor. Now, the good news for you is over-the-air 3.0 TV is coming. Sinclair is investing heavily in it. They're the largest owner of broadcast over-the-air television stations in the United States. They own CBS, ABC, NBC, and Fox stations. They own all, like 70% of Americans. One of your stations is owned by Sinclair. 3.0 does a much better job of penetrating trees and woods and so on. So some of the stuff that currently blocks over-the-air TV won't be an issue anymore with 3.0. So keep that in mind. 3.0 is coming, but it sounds like you may need a more powerful outdoor antenna. Go to antennarecommendations.com. Antennarecommendations.com. In your address, it'll help you out there. Yes, Al, you do have to enter for the DirecTV Now free month on Roku. It's a free trial, so like all free trials, you have to sign up for the service and remember to cancel. How do I keep going over my 1 terabyte of data usage? Any tips? 3 things. if you're having problems going over your data cap, number one, make sure your Wi-Fi network is passworded. Make sure your neighbors aren't getting on your Wi-Fi network. Maybe change your password, because older encryption and older routers could be cracked if people spend enough time on it. It takes a lot of work, but it could be done. Change your Wi-Fi password. Make sure no one else has it. Number two, turn off autoplay. If you're somebody like me that likes to watch TV as you fall asleep, and you fall asleep, your TV sleep timer goes off, but like Netflix will play 3 episodes. So it's very possible you may burn 6 or 7 gigs of data while you sleep every night. Over 30 months, now you're burning a few hundred gigs of data as you sleep. So turn off autoplay is my number one. The other one is go to corecarsnews.com. In the search block on the right-hand side, type in data cap tips. Data cap tips, 3 words. Hit enter. You'll find a post there with all kinds of tips. But securing your Wi-Fi network, making sure you turn off autoplay are my 2 main suggestions. 4K will use a lot more data, very true. So you may want to think about using 1080p. I don't know. I'm somebody who I don't really see a big difference in 4K on a lot, especially with cartoons. I don't understand why cartoons are aired in 4K on some of these services. I don't think the Family Guy, I'm not sure Family Guy is one of them, but Family Guy, for example, I don't think it looks any different in 4K than it does in HD. I just don't. I can't see it. Maybe I'm weird. I just can't see it. What type of antennas do I recommend for outdoor? I recommend several brands. Mohu has a nice one. Antenna Direct has Antenna Direct. Those are the 2 ones I recommend. Mohu and Antenna Direct for outdoor antennas. So keep those 2 brands in mind. Does USA have a standalone option stream on Roku? USA Network is available through many different streaming services. Many of their shows appear on Netflix and Hulu, because remember, most USA content is just reruns. I'm blanking out on them, but check Sling TV, PlayStation Vue, DirecTV Now. They all offer it, I believe, if I remember right. So check that out. Excuse me. All right, so let's keep rolling through these questions. I'm trying to scroll through here and see what kind of questions I missed real quick. What's the deal with Hulu Live? Fox Sports Detroit still down 8 days. Paul, have you contacted Hulu? I have not heard from anybody, but I no longer live in Michigan. I used to live in Michigan. So I don't see Fox Sports Detroit currently listed as one down here. But my regional sports network down here seems to be working fine. Contact Hulu. It's the best I can tell you. I wish I could tell you more. I'm not really sure what's happening there. David asks, what is the best streaming players in terms of simplification? Roku. If you want a super simple device, my parents can use it. My 4-year-old daughter can use it. Rokus are great. The quick buttons make it super easy. The basic interface. I know some people are like, oh, it's not as beautiful as others, but it's super, super simple to use. So that's why if you want something simple, I would get a Roku. See here, I installed an Xfinity equipment myself. Yeah, with internet, you can do that with Comcast now. And use my own router. Do that. Or modem is what it really is. But yeah, don't pay the rental fee to Comcast. You're paying $120 a year for something that costs $60. Go buy a modem. Great job there. Once promo ends and they start charging for the Rokus, it won't even be close. Yeah, you're using PlayStation Vue, you're saving a lot of money. That's definitely good. Yeah, avoid Comcast TV. They'll do anything to make it look cheaper. It really is not. Let's see here. If you have a question and I haven't answered it, repost it. I probably missed it. But if you want to help Court Cars News, check out our Twitter at Court Cars News. If you are following us on Facebook, check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/CourtCarsNews. Subscribe to both. It really is a huge help. We're trying to grow subscriber count on both of those, so we would really appreciate your support there. Let's jump in it. I don't have to use the Apple remote to watch DirecTV Now. I can use my Roku. Yeah, movie fan. I see you're excited about that. I know a lot of people don't like the Apple TV touchpad. I was always annoyed by that too, so it's good to see you're enjoying that. Italian asks, how about DVR services? Most live TV streaming services, Sling, Hulu, YouTube, PlayStation View, all offer DVR for that. There are many over-the-air DVRs for antenna, Tableau being the one I mostly recommend, Channel Master number 2, and TiVo offers an over-the-air TV or DVR. So DVRs are easy. DirecTV Now does not have a DVR. They're the only ones I believe that don't. They say a DVR option is coming. What do you think of Sling TV and Air TV together? I absolutely love it, especially if you're somebody who is not very technical. You like over your air, you want Sling, and you want Netflix. It puts all three in one spot. It makes the user interface very seamless. They're adding the guide to it, so you're going to be able to have more of a traditional channel guide on it with your over-the-air, your Sling, streaming ones, and your Netflix all in one spot. If I was buying a device today for my parents, I would go do that. So check, if you want it, Air TV is not bad. I see you're watching us on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page, type in Air TV. You'll find we have a couple videos. One where I talked to one of the Air TV team members, and he gave us a walkthrough of the Air TV. Another one with my hands-on review of the Air TV. So you can learn more about that there. Timothy asks, why do you think DirecTV Now didn't release to all devices? I have a TCL TV and it wasn't released. Time, I think they're rushing it. I think they're creating a second version. The Roku One, the older Roku Stick, and some of the older players are noticeably slower than the current models. So I wouldn't be surprised if they release a stripped down version. When you're using a slower device, that's kind of what you'll need to do there. Jennifer says, my CNN Go will not work. Jennifer, CNN Go requires a provider. You can get CNN for $20 a month with DirecTV or with Sling TV exclusively and get 30 other channels like ESPN and many other popular ones like TNT. So if you want CNN, news is really important to you, $20 a month, you can get it with Sling TV. Daniel asks, what is my VPN provider? I don't really use VPNs for streaming. Most streaming services are cracking down on that, so keep that in mind. William asks, can Kodi be added to the Air TV? Well, Kodi or Will Mofo One, I'm assuming I'm saying that right. The Air TV box is in stock Android TV under the hood. You have full access to the Google Play Store, so just go in the Google Play Store, download Kodi through the Google Play Store. Why is it taking longer for so many companies to create new Roku channels? Well, Roku is still getting a lion's share of channels earlier than others. I think Roku is trying to develop more high-end ones. They've released some new languages, some new OS features, and backend tools. If you look at the DirecTV Now, the Twitter, and so forth, you notice they're very powerful, nice-looking apps. Well, that definitely will take longer to develop for. And I think that's what's happening here. I just think that they have Roku's working with them to develop nicer looking apps, so you just don't get that stock Roku look. The problem with that, it takes a little longer. I'm sure as they develop and they get better about this new user interface and the new streaming options, that will become quicker. So check it out. The other thing I think is a little bit too is Roku is the largest. And some services, you look what happened to DirecTV Now, just crushed under the weight of the traffic. And I think what happened is that DirecTV Now said we don't want to add Roku right now because of how many subscribers they have. We're worried about getting flooded. So there you go. If you're, I see I never glitched out at all about the sorry, I'm trying to read talk. It doesn't always work. Sometimes I trip up. I see I glitch out a little bit on Facebook. Can you tell me if you can see me on Facebook? As for total, I see you have some type of issue with my statement about internet. Can you be more descriptive? I'm not really understanding what you're trying to say there. I really don't understand. Something about cost of internet, then I don't know what to say. Are you talking about the thing about how we're getting more internet providers and that'll drive down the cost of internet? if you're talking about the fact that Spectrum is raising the cost by $5, I still do stand behind the statement that even with internet costing $5 more a month, canceling TV side still saves you a lot of money. I pay $74 a month for internet only through Comcast, 200 down, 12 up. Kevin, you're way overpaying for internet. If they have a slower package, get it. Streaming will never use 200 down. Even 4K, all you need is 25 down. Cut that in half and see if they'll give you a slower package. Shop around for other internet services. I'll be honest with you. Every 4K stream only needs 25. HD streams only needs 5. So a 25 down package could do 5 different HD streams at once, for example. Facebook is still down. If you're seeing Facebook is down to you, refresh your page, please, because I can see myself here. Oh, you know what? Facebook is completely out. I gotta relaunch the stream. I don't know what happened there. All right, I'm back on Facebook. Hey, real quick, while I deal with getting Facebook back up on the air, we're going to do a quick ad on YouTube. It helps pay the bills. I really appreciate it. If you don't have YouTube Red, go see about a 30-second ad. And I'm just coming back up on Facebook, so give me 1 second here. So I really appreciate it and all your support. All right, so I should be back up on YouTube. Or on Facebook. I'm really not sure what happened there. Because YouTube didn't drop at all, just Facebook dropped. So that was very bizarre. And I almost didn't even notice that it went down. I saw it froze for a moment and then came back. But because YouTube never glitched out, I'm not sure why Facebook did. The evil cable companies are stopping us again. Yeah, some people will see the ad movie phone, some people won't. If you're YouTube Red, you're not going to see it. Let me quickly share this on Twitter too. We'll get a few more people out here. All right, so we're all back. Everybody's back. Welcome. Sorry about that. I see people are rejoining. I have no idea why Facebook went down because YouTube did not. Yeah, Bill, yeah, that's been there for a little while. It's been kind of hidden. I think it just may be a little bit more present, but yeah, you can pair it now. Yeah, you know, Jerry, you're a classic example of why 5G is very exciting for internet. From what you're saying is you live in an area where satellite's pretty much your only option. Soon 5G will be an option. And you'll have Verizon, Comcast, Google's getting into it. Charter, Dish's bought Spectrum, and they're going to launch a 5G nationwide network. They say by 2020 it'll be live in over half the country. Yes, I am a Wolverine fan. Let me get this up right here. Go Blue. The 5G is the answer to internet issues. With the ability to have 4 or 5 internet services in each town fighting each other. You know, you got 3 or 4 over-the-air 5G services giving you gigabyte speed, which is the same as fiber gives. DSL, cable, and so forth, all competing. That will be what, you know, is the true answer for cord cutting. I talked to a lot of people in the industry at the NAB show about 5G, and they're all very excited about it. 5G is what's happening. I have DSL through my phone company telephone service, with satellite being the only other option I have. Yeah, you know, that's the tough part, unfortunately. There are still, especially if you live in rural areas, where that's the case. It's getting better. AT&T is already lighting up a wireless 4G service, so is Verizon, to reach people like you and give you an option. Not the best option, but that's the one to come in. Andy, 5G is like all things, it's probably more expensive. When fiber first came out, it was very expensive. Within a year, as more and more people came, it drive down the price. It won't be as expensive as fiber did. it will probably be very consistent with your cable and DSL. And what will have happen then is you'll have 3, 4, 5 different internet services, and it'll start going down. There was a study, and I think it was from Parks Associates. Don't quote me on that. It may have been from another research firm that basically said when towns have 3 or more internet providers, they pay lower rates than towns with 2 or less internet providers. Competition drives down cost, statistically proven. So, fingers crossed we'll get it soon. Mike asks, what do you know about Frog TV Box? It's just an Android box with a bunch of Kodi piracy add-ons. How to convince the wife to become a cord cutter. John, increasingly that question is coming from wives saying, how can I convince my husband to be a cord cutter? Fun little trivia there. My recommendation, go slow. Get some streaming players. Show her how it works. I mean, streaming players, you'll always get use out of it. So get some streaming players. Maybe look into an antenna, see what you can get. And show her how well it works. And then go from there. So check that out. Jerry, if you go to Cord Cutters News, type in the search box and type in Verizon. There's a post there about Verizon's new wireless internet option. Not the best option in the world. It's not the cheapest, but it would give you a decent third option for internet if you live in a very rural area. Lisa, welcome to the Cord Cutting family. Great to hear you cutting the cord on Friday. My number one tip is do everything you can to be set up before that point. Buy your antenna, set up your antenna. Get your streaming players, get your streaming services. I'm sure you've done this. But that's my number one tip to anybody cord cutting. Set it up before you become a cord cutter. The worst thing in the world is when you accidentally cut the cord and don't have everything set up, and then you're scrambling. So keep that in mind. Carlos, where do you think the ISP monopoly came from? Government. Government enabled ISPs to have monopolies by controlling pole access, by controlling permits and all kinds of stuff. I lived in a very small rural town in Missouri where the fastest internet when I moved there was 10 down. And in short, another company came, offered to run fiber through that community because it was a military community. They saw a potential there to sell fiber internet. And the city said, no, we're happy with that, with our cable and phone service now. We don't want to give permits to another company. The FCC is trying to change that by forcing governments to give out more permits to companies that want to run wired internet options. But the reality of it is government is the reason that there is a monopoly. And there's a lot of reasons for that. There's also the truth behind it too is it's really expensive to wire a town. If you think about it, you're running cables to every single home in a town. That's time consuming. That's labor consuming. Those are two very expensive things. Plus, just running the fiber everywhere is not cheap. That's a lot of cables. For example, to handle 5G, Verizon over the next 3 years is spending $1 billion US dollars to run more fiber to their cell phone towers to be able to handle the congestion without having to traffic shape and so forth. So keep that in mind. Seth, Dish is still doing antenna installs. They will come install indoor, attic, or outdoor. They came to my house and did it. Very impressed with the service. They did a great job. Hey, I'm seeing a lot of people post. People have been sharing this video on Facebook. If you're watching this, we're only looking at questions at facebook.com/CordCuttersNews. Facebook.com/CordCuttersNews, our Facebook page. Post your questions there. Let's see here. Okay. How bad can it get without internet neutrality? Randy, I don't think the fact that we're reclassifying internet from Title II to Title I-A doesn't necessarily kill net neutrality. 2, they can still have it there. 2, net neutrality has never really been mostly about net neutrality. It's more about government having control. Like I just talked about, government created monopolies. Don't trust government. They're not, I don't want to sound like I'm anti-government. I'm just saying the internet existed before net neutrality. It will exist after. Is net neutrality a bad thing in concept? No, it's a great thing in concept. I'm not a fan with how they implemented this net neutrality. I never thought it was well done. I thought it gave the government too much control over what internet services can and cannot do, and that helped proliferate monopolies and made it difficult for you probably read a lot of stories about cities wanting to run their own internet services and it getting struck down or banned for a variety of reasons, whether state and so forth. Having it under Title II allowed courts and so forth to block efforts for that kind of stuff. Putting it back under Title I would free up cities and so forth to recreate it. It's complicated, it's long, but the short end of the story is net neutrality. Cord cutting was around before it, cord cutting will be around after it. Is it a good thing? Yes. I was never a big fan with the way that it was done last time. I thought it gave government too much ability to prevent municipality internet. It gave government a little bit too much control to basically slow down the rate of internet expansion, basically. As weird as that sounds, I know that does not fit with the narrative a lot of people say, but it's just kind of my opinion. Is net neutrality a good thing? Would I like it? Do I hope they keep it? Yes, I want to keep it there. Am I all that concerned about going to Title I? No, I'm not. So it is what it is. I don't think we can stop it. Though if you want to, contact your place. Netflix, and I'm not the only one that shares this opinion. Netflix just came out today and said, we were around before net neutrality, we'll be around after net neutrality, and we're really not concerned about it. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Dean says, my apartment complex doesn't allow outdoor antennas. Legally, they cannot prevent you from putting out one within reason on your patio. There's certain limitations. The FCC has some regulations about it. FCC does a lot of great things. This is one of the great things. They say that antenna landlords and so forth cannot block you putting up an antenna within reason. So research it. FCC antenna rules. Type that into Google. It'll come up with a bunch of documents. Read over it carefully. Understand what you're doing, and go from there. But your antenna complex cannot, or your apartment complex cannot ban you from putting an antenna on your porch, for example. Dean, time to move. Or get an indoor antenna. Indoor antennas are better than you think they are. So, and just to make my net neutrality stance clear, I think net neutrality as a concept is excellent. The cord cutting and streaming was there before net neutrality, because net neutrality has only been around a couple of years. It'll be here afterwards. I think Title II, I was never a big fan of the way it was done. I never thought it really was real net neutrality. I never thought it really gave us everything we want. And this is going to take research. If you want to understand more of it, I recommend that you spend some time and research it. But is net neutrality great? I like the idea it's going to Title II. I think or Title I, and I think they can do both. I think they should have Title I with additional provisions to protect net neutrality. And here's the kicker of it. I hear a lot of senators and congressmen moaning and groaning, oh, we need to protect net neutrality, evil FCC. They have the ability to pass a law that takes it out of the FCC's hands. Congress and the Senate and the House can do that. And I think that's where this probably needs to come from. Rather than an unelected board of people making decisions on net neutrality. And let's be honest, if the FCC gets control of it, they're unelected government employees. I'd rather see Congress pass a law for net neutrality. That way, it doesn't matter what the FCC classifies it. So I don't think I explained that very well the first time, but that's my big thing there. I was never a big fan of the way it was done. I'm never a big fan of the FCC, the way they implemented it, controlled it. It was toothless, and it did more to damage the spread of broadband internet than it did to actually protect people's net neutrality. So hopefully that understands everything. I wanted to make sure that was clear. Let's see here. When will 3.0 antenna reception start? Over the next 2 to 3 years, you'll probably see a lot more over-the-air television. Sinclair is the largest. they're giving away 1 million. So 3.0 will not only work in your home, but it will make cell phones into low miniature TVs. And Sinclair, to kind of promote that, is giving away 1 million cell phone antennas to cell phone manufacturers. So it's very possible your next cell phone will have a built-in 3.0 antenna. Andrew, 3.0 is already a reality in some markets. It's been tested. LG, for example, is all their new TVs selling later this year will come with 3.0 included, built-in tuners. So probably within the next year, we're going to see 3.0 start rolling out. And the next Olympics, NBC says they're going to start streaming it 4K or airing it over the air 3.0 4K events. So I think 3.0 is going to come quicker than you think, because there's a lot of benefits for Sinclair, other over-the-air TV owners, to do it, because they get the ability to offer on-demand, sell pay-per-view events over your antenna, and the list goes on and on and on. Seth asks, what channels do Sinclair own? They own 70% of the United States has at least one channel owned by Sinclair. They're buying Tribune. There'll be the other part of them. Sorry, I'm waiting for somebody. I had to look if somebody was out there. And they own ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS affiliates. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your questions on that. Yeah, so Dean is right. In his area, they own the CBS and the Fox affiliate. It's kind of weird to think about, but Fox, CBS, ABC don't own their own channels. For the most part, they own some, but most Fox channels are not owned by Fox. A company has the rights to a channel. They pay Fox a yearly fee for the rights to have Fox content and use the Fox branding. Bill, I wouldn't worry about Tableau. That probably wouldn't be a problem. I really wouldn't worry about your DVRs and so forth with 3.0 and so on. I don't think that's going to be an issue going forward. So above refurbished Roku 3 in Amazon, I'd like to know if Roku still does and how long will they continue to support that device. Yes, Roku still supports the Roku 3. They only recently stopped supporting some Rokus, first generation Rokus. So Roku's built in 2010 and before. And when Roku announced that they were going to end support for first generation Rokus, the newest of those devices were 6 years old. So you probably have another 4 to 5 years minimum of support from Roku on the 3.0. That's a pretty good run, especially for a refurbished device. Yeah. And the great thing about Roku, even though they said, hey, we're not going to be updating the first generation Rokus, but your apps are going to still work. Netflix still works on it and so forth. You're just not going to get the new app. And that's probably what will happen with the Roku 3 in 4 or 5 years from now. So check that out. And then, so yeah, sorry, my brain got fried as I was reading and talking, and it doesn't always work right. So keep that in mind. It's not always going to be dropped. For instance, one of the Roku television manufacturers recently announced that they're going to pull out the U.S. market. It was a Chinese company, if I remember right, and they said, we're just not getting the penetration in America. We're going to stop selling in America. We're going to sell overseas, and we're going to drop the Roku, because Roku TV OS is only available in a few countries right now. They're adding more. Roku said, don't worry about it, and we will be rolling out updates for those TVs, even though the manufacturer no longer supports it. The only way to put ISP price gouging mess is to have 2 hardwire providers along with 2 or 3 5G. Yeah, cable, DSL. There's your 2 hardwire. Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, Dish, Spectrum, Charter, Spectrum Charter, One Place, are all going to be 5G providers. So that is, Kevin, there's your list of providers that someday are going to be there. Any more news for DirecTV Now about DVR? No, they said sometime this year. We'll see. They only now got to Roku, so I'm sure they've just been busy. They've been fixing that app, and I'm sure that delayed the DVR. Larry, yes, Tableau will be able to make 3.0 compatible devices. I'm not going to comment on their backwards compatibility. You would think that they would make something work there. I would contact Tableau for any feedback on that. I received a firmware update to my Tableau a few weeks back, and now the time it takes to begin streaming live TV is much faster. Yeah, Keith, I'm a big Tableau fan, huge fan of it. They did release a new update, and that has dramatically improved the performance of the device. All right, so let me take a look at here a few things. All right, so keep the questions coming. If I have not answered your question, please repost it, and I'll do my best. Mike, the app on DirecTV, on Roku for DirecTV Now is free. The service starts at $35 a month. There. Colin, broadcasters have announced that NBC will air some of their show, the Olympics, the next one, in 3.0. So before the Olympics come out, NBC stations are going to start doing it. Sinclair is very gung-ho. They own the largest number of their TV stations, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next year if you start seeing them upgrade their towers and start rolling out. We're probably 2 to 3 years before it's massively popular on all channels, but probably by the end of this year, early next year, you'll have maybe 1, maybe 2 options for 3.0 wherever you live. LG, for example, is rolling out 3.0 tuners in all their new TVs. They're backwards compatible, so you'll be able to watch 3.0 and 2.0 without having to worry, or 1.0 without having to worry about, is this 2.0, is 3.0? The tuners just pull for each of them. Christopher, is Roku so popular? Why does it take so long for these services to come to Roku? That's not necessarily true. Remember, Roku was the first service to get a live TV streaming service. Sling came to Roku first, and it was months before some devices, over a year for the Apple TV to get Sling TV. So, yeah, the last 2 have gone that way, where DirecTV Now, which is now on Roku, and Hulu, but Hulu's was not even on the Fire TV at launch. So keep it all. It's not even on Android TV now. So I think Roku's getting a little unfair treatment on that. I think some of it with DirecTV Now, the delay behind that, I think was Roku's the largest by far. Over 70% of our readers said they own a Roku. Huge lead over the Fire TV, the next biggest one at 40-some%. I think that AT&T said, let's fix our service before we drop a bunch of new people. And I think that was the delay behind DirecTV Now coming to Roku. Hulu says it's coming, and they're much more aggressive than AT&T was, so I wouldn't be surprised if very quickly we get it. But Hulu is not even open to the public on the Fire TV yet. It's not an Android, so really no surprise there. Yes, CBS All Access is on the Roku. There's many services on the Roku that are not on others. Have you heard about, PC Doctor? I have not heard about that one. Sorry. I just can't comment on it because I'm not familiar with it. Have you heard any more information about CBS coming to DirecTV Now? No. Not since they had that image that leaked and then got taken down. So DirecTV Now posted a promotional image on their Apple TV store touting CBS-owned stations. And after it was pointed out and we reported it, they said, "Oop, let's take that down." Very typical. People accidentally post things early, and we'll have to wait and see. Even if they have a deal now, it can take a couple months for them to be able to come to DirecTV Now, because the FCC has rules about where and what type of servers you can use. So it's very likely that DirecTV Now, even if they struck a deal, is going city by city installing servers to meet the FCC requirements. I think the wait is worth it instead of doing a guide like PlayStation View. Bill, I don't understand your comment there. Am I missing some of the conversation? Yeah, Christopher, Hulu Live, is great. Hopefully they come to Roku. But you have Fubo TV, Sling TV, PlayStation Vue, and DirecTV Now to pick from on Roku if you want live TV. So there's a lot of options out there to pick from. Let's see here. I'm missing it. Will we get the $35 big the $35 Go Big deal back now that's on Roku? Probably not. I don't think that will ever come back. If you didn't get that deal, it's just gone. DirecTV Now waiting until their customer base slow down before bringing out new things is going. It's also a marketing strategy. Yeah, David, there's some truth in that. Sling TV is kind of the master of marketing, and they do this a lot. DirecTV Now and Hulu both had big news yesterday. Here comes Sling TV. Guess what? Traditional guide. You've been asking for it. Here it is. And they completely suck the air out of DirecTV Now and Hulu. So yeah, there is a lot of truth that companies do sometimes hold features back for the concept that they are going to later release them to let people have access to them. Will Pluto TV come to Xbox One? I'm sure they will. They've been slowly adding different features and so forth. So keep that in mind. That if you want a device or an app on a certain device, contact that device, contact that app, in your case, Pluto TV, and tell them, hey, we want you on the Xbox One. So keep that in mind. We should see the benefits of all the new deals of networks made with affiliates as core cards. Colin asked, when will we see the benefits of all these deals with CBS, NBC, and ABC getting rights to negotiate on behalf of their affiliates? Well, like I was talking about a little earlier, just because they get the deal done, FCC requires that local channels be streamed from within their market. So if you've got a Chicago station, the server for that Chicago station has to be located in Chicago. So at earliest, we're talking June, July may be more realistic. So keep that in mind that we are working on that right now, or I'm working on covering that right now. And when we hear more, we'll tell you. But just getting the deal done is only the first half of the strategy. They still have to go and set up the servers, set up the feeds, and so forth. And these aren't like you just go to Amazon and get a server. The content providers have very strict requirements on security. They want to make sure that people aren't going to get access to the stream and then be able to pirate it. So there's very, very strict security features that they have to do. Sorry, what's your opinion of the AT&T bundle deal of DirecTV Now and their cell service? Hey, if you have DirecTV Now and you have AT&T Wireless Unlimited, $25 a month and free HBO is not a bad deal. It can make DirecTV Now as cheap as $10 a month for 60 channels or whatever it is for the $35 plan plus free HBO. Hey, if you got AT&T Unlimited Wireless, that's your best deal out there. Nothing wrong with that deal. Can I watch Pluto TV on the Xbox One through the Edge browser? Michael, I have not tested it. I do have an Xbox One. I've never thought of testing that. If you really want Pluto, let's be honest, Xbox One is nice, but it has a fraction of the apps of a Roku. Get a $30 Roku, a $40 Roku stick, plug it into your TV, and get Pluto and a whole bunch of other apps that the Xbox One doesn't have. So keep that in mind. Christopher, from my understanding, they're already rolling out, but you need a provider for that on the ABC app. I believe a bunch of them have been added to the ABC app. I'm assuming more will be added soon. Hey, everybody, we got to wrap this up. It's been a great day. I got to have dinner. I'm starving. I hope everybody has a great week. I hope everybody is doing well. Keep everything in mind. If you need help, visit Cord Cutting Tech Support. And on Facebook, we have a Facebook group called Cord Cutting Tech Support, and they'll be happy to answer your questions. If you like what we do and you want to support Cord Cutters News, consider donating $1. You guys fund Cord Cutters News, and whether that be through ads or you have an ad blocker, we'd love to have a dollar donation, but we're not going to block anybody with ad blockers. I know some sites are doing that. No intention to. But I wanted to say thank you for all your support. Every Wednesday, we're right here, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here for an hour every week answering your questions. But you can find us on Facebook, a Facebook group, Cord Cutting Tech Support. Every day, I think we're getting close to 17,000 members there who are happy to answer your cord cutting related questions. So thank you for your support. I really appreciate everybody. We're going to do our best to promote cord cutting. We're going to do our best to get out there and give cord cutting and make it as easy as possible for everybody. Man, I'm tired. Don't mind me as I trip over all my words. And please hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, not just on this video, but on all videos. And it really does help us when people like and share our videos. So thank you. Take care. See you next week. All right, we're just going to close out here. Running an ad for anybody who's not watching it on YouTube with a red plan or one of the others. Most people will see an ad there, and it really does help us. So I appreciate everybody who watched the ad on it. So take care. Have a good night. The ad's almost over, and I really appreciate your support of helping us keep the site running. Have a good night. See you next week.